We surveyed several different high school teachers and asked them what their ideas on the 5 basic concepts of democracy were. Explain the worth of the individual as it relates to democracy.
The worth of the individual as it relates to democracy. In an ideal situation, everybody would have one voice and be able to express that voice in avenues such as voting. Unfortunately, we have super PACs that are now turning corporations into voices and taking away the voice of the individual for corporate agendas. And so we end up with issues like fracking right in our own backyard as opposed to water that's actually drinkable.
A majority rules, minority rights as it relates to democracy.
Majority rules and minority rights as it relates to democracy. I think the best way to explain this is to rationalize the 2000 election in which Al Gore clearly won the majority vote over George W. Bush, yet somehow, due to the ineptitude of our electoral college, still ended up in second place when all votes were tallied. Let me send a special note to Florida. Good job, Florida.
How many people does the state send to the Senate?
2, unless the state is Alaska, at which point they send them to Russia, because you can see Russia from your house in Alaska.
What do you call the change to the Constitution?
Corporate agenda setting only made feasible by propaganda that the general public doesn't understand.
Go for it.
Explain equality of all persons as it relates to democracy.
Through the Bill of Rights?
Sure.
Like equality?
Yeah.
All people are created equal?
Is that your answer?
According to the question, it's vague. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Explain the necessity of compromise as it relates to democracy.
Compromise, democracy. I think in order to have democracy, you have to have compromise, and that's the problem when I say that all things are related to greed. Everybody is greedy, and therefore people are afraid to communicate. Everybody's willing to say what they want, but aren't willing to listen. So compromise then is not able to be obtained because of the fact that the communication process is broken.
Who elects the Supreme Court Justice?
President.
Look at this great use of Padre time to work on a project.
Where does Congress meet?
What do they mean?
I know.
Yeah, like they get in a group. Where do they go?
Like specifically, or Washington, D.C.?
Okay, there you go. Sure.
It's like Ben Franklin said. I mean, it's the concept of what is it? My rights end where the other man's nose begins.
Okay,
something
we'll
like
check
that.
that.
That's a pretty good quote. You like that one?
Yeah, I like that.
All right, there you go. Did
Next. Okay.
you get that one? How? That's a good answer, wasn't it?
It was.
I made that.
Explain the worth of the individual as it relates to democracy. So kind of same thing.
It's the same thing.
Well, it's okay. Just give a new answer.
My rights end where the other man's nose begins.
Great. Okay.
My
For
right.
how long do we elect the representatives?
Which ones? U.S. House.
National, yeah.
2 years. No term limits.
Okay.
And what are the duties of the Supreme Court?
Depends. But their job is to say what the law is. Judicial review.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Explain equality of all persons as it relates to democracy.
Everyone should be treated like crap.
Explain majority rules, minority rights as it relates to democracy.
Majority rules, if you're a man and in power, you're right, and minority, no one cares what you think anyway.
What is the Bill of Rights?
I think it was something that the Pilgrims wrote when they were trying to escape the Nazis.
Who is the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court?
Probably somebody stupid. Yo.
Explain the necessity of compromise as it relates to democracy.
Necessity, it's a necessity because you got a lot of diverse people and they have to work together in order to create democracy. Because not one person, not one group's going to get all their way.
Let's record this one.
For how long do we elect each senator?
6 years.
And what is the Bill of Rights?
Bill of Rights. First 10 amendments to the Constitution.
To democracy.
I think it means you have the freedom to do whatever you want as long as it's within the law. And then as we all do our own thing, it seems to work out.
Explain the worth of the individual as it relates to democracy.
Like their monetary value.
Explain equality of all persons as it relates to democracy.
The what?
Equality of all persons.
Equality, what does that mean?
Being
To be equal?
Oh, we're equal?
No. No.
We're supposed to be.
Equality to what?
Of all persons as it relates to democracy.
As it relates to democracy. How does equality and democracy have anything to do with each other?
That's a good question.
Equality as it relates to democracy. We all have certain rights, and that's how we're all equal.
Okay, good.
Now you're dumb.
What special group advises the president?
His cabinet.
Name one purpose of the United Nations.
One purpose of the United Nations?
Yeah.
To stop world wars.
Thank you. Explain majority rule as minority rights as it relates to democracy.
Barack Obama.
Okay. Explain the necessity of compromise as it relates to democracy.
Barack Obama.
Okay, who's the Vice President of the United States?
Barack Obama.
Can the Constitution be changed?
Barack Obama.
Thank you.
Even though the teachers had some good thoughts about the 5 basic concepts of democracy, these are what they actually are.
I believe that the worth of the individual is democracy is based off the value of individual freedom while still obeying the set laws. Some examples are going to school, getting dressed, and paying for insurance.
We believe that the equality of all persons means that democracy allows every individual to have equal opportunity and equality when dealing with the law. Some examples would be desegregated society like schools, workplaces, and anywhere public. Majority rules and minority rights means that a majority of the people are right on an issue, and they can listen to the minority for opinions. Some examples would be people of a jury deciding on an issue.
Then we think the necessity of compromise is people have to compromise on opinions and attempt to make everyone's suggestions into account. Examples are Democrats and Republicans have to put their ideas together.
Individual freedom is where each person can do what they want as long as it's within the boundaries set by the government. Examples include getting to choose what church or school that you go to.
It's not vocab actually. I don't know why she said that.
Am I gonna look dumb?
No, probably not. You'll probably know it.
We surveyed several different high school teachers and thought.
Wait, hold on. Can we start these over? I can give fun answers.
Okay, do that.
Can we-
Surveyed several. Is that supposed to say?
It's kind of hard. It's hard. Society like schools, workplaces, and public schools.